Sorry about that. Hold on just a second. Gotta comb my hair here. I'm on my lunch break. I'm going to be at the Cabot candidate meet and greet later on this evening around 6:30. Um, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this thing that just happened. Apparently, hold on just a second. I have to adjust something here. Apparently, there was in March of 2021, the Arkansas Department of Health decided to inspect a facility in West Memphis, Arkansas. And it turns out that this facility was full of rats, among other vermin. Okay, I don't know. I guess I'll use that one. And I'm also facing this on Facebook. And apparently there was a bunch of these rats. There's a video of them. There is a press conference by Attorney General Leslie Rutledge that shows these one rat just sitting there eating a chip, and then another one deciding, and then there's another of two rats that are wrestling with each other. Or maybe it's wrestling, depending on how you decide to phrase it. And apparently, been going on, like I said, since March of 2021. Now, there were some by the Department of Health. There were warnings to abate and other types of procedures, but they didn't shut the facility down. And this Family Dollar distributed rat infested products all over the nation. And this is the big and main distribution warehouse there. And apparently, now there is a lawsuit pending. And of course, Facebook is jamming me, so I don't know if I'm some kind of query error. I think I'm live on Facebook. I can't tell because I get too many error messages that happen. And I'm mainly talking about this on Podbean, but you can listen to me also on keeparkansaslegal YouTube. I'm fixing to switch over to Just the Right Angle. But for right now, I'm using this because this just happened earlier today. I had no idea this was going on. But they apparently had this infestation happening for a while. And they're finally filing a lawsuit about this. This is actually, like I said, been going on for some time. The main thing I wanted to focus on, Leslie Rutledge is running for lieutenant governor along with several other candidates. But the main thing I wanted to focus on is the Department of Health. The Department of Health knew about this since, again, March of 2021, and they did not shut this place down. And as Leslie Rutledge commented, I think she was asked a question about this and was commented, and she stated that they were dealing with the COVID crisis. And she didn't say that in the way I'm going to say it, is what they really were doing was they were attacking mom and pop stores. They were going to mom and pop stores over the Fauci flu and shutting them down if they supposedly violated the mask mandates. That's what was going on. That's why they were, quote unquote, too busy to deal with this issue, along with other issues such as communicable diseases being brought over by illegal aliens, other diseases that are being brought over, the fentanyl epidemic, and there's oftentimes a lot of chemicals that are associated with that. Too busy to deal with people being injured by the vaccines, Johnson & Johnson, who's already had to pull their vaccines, people being in the issue of bacteria in these masks. No, they didn't deal with any of that. They did not deal with that at all. What did they deal? What did they go after? They went after mom and pop stores. They went after some poor restaurant over in Sheridan and ended up shutting them down because they didn't abide by the mask mandates, supposedly. And we can't even, there's no details into what they did wrong or any of that. It's just some bureaucrat went into a restaurant because he was too busy to shut down any of the Family Dollar stores or the distribution center, and decided that they were somehow violating a mask, and that can be because they didn't wear a mask, or they didn't properly wear a mask, or they didn't force restaurant people to wear masks, or people had their mask on before they sat down. I mean, it's so random as to why these poor restaurants were shut down. It's nobody can tell, but they went ahead and shut down these. Oftentimes, fine these restaurants, and they find them ridiculous amounts of money. And many of them are now. I think the one in Sheridan, I think, was a something move restaurant, and ended up being shut down because the bureaucrats are too busy. But Family Dollar was able to distribute rat-infested products all over the state and the nation. But mom and pop stores were shut down. That's what happened. That is people's lives were ruined, but Family Dollar was, and only now they're filing a lawsuit. And I don't know what this lawsuit's going to mean. I don't know if this means they're going to come in and actually shut this place down or not. And the sad thing is there's probably a number of people that work at the Department of Health who are brave people doing their job. There was the Department of Health people that first went and inspected this place. But now, the powers that be, the ones that set policy, hey, Go Guard, good to see you. The ones that establish the priorities have decided instead to, again, go after mom and pop stores over the face diapers, the COVID redistribution devices, which you know what happens. You put these masks on, it just blows air out the side, not the top. It is the original purpose of most of the surgical masks are only designed to temporarily block some, vapor droplets from someone while they're doing surgery on someone else. That's all it was. They need to be thrown away. They're not supposed to be worn for several hours. They're not supposed to be worn all day and then stuffed in somebody's purse or pocket or side of the car and then worn again. But that's what people were doing. And of course, sometimes they were wearing them in their cars while driving, as if that was going to protect people. And there's still people wearing them too. There's lots of leftist people who believe the leftist ideology, the narrative. They are still wearing these stupid masks, thinking it's going to protect them. But during the COVID crisis, the Fauci Flu epidemic, which was created by Anthony Fauci's gain-of-function research and then distributed by communist China after it was grown in a lab in Wuhan. And when that was, which of course allowed the Democrats to commit voter fraud by having so many mail-in ballots. They, in Arkansas, our worthless excuse of a governor was using the Department of Health to go after mom and pop stores. I have video that I'll post later on my pod. Matter of fact, I can post it now, actually. No way, I don't want to do that. Sorry. I'm a bit new to this live streaming. I decided to put this very quickly, so you'll probably see this as a recording. But anyway, they shut down mom and pop stores all over the state and made no effort, but apparently did next to nothing in trying to shut down this facility. I mean, this place should have been shut down. But this is actually not surprising when you consider that when COVID was going on, when the Fauci flu was raging across the state and killing people, mainly in part because people were not getting their vitamin C and their hydroxychloroquine, their ivermectin, because many people were listening to Jose Romero and the Department of Health in the media outlets and KRN News Radio, who ended up firing Doc Washburn because he refused to take the vaccine, and accepting the media narrative. The Department of Health would go into mom and pop stores and shut them down because they weren't abiding by the mask mandates. So this is once again what we call priorities. And these government bureaucracies only seem to care about bureaucracies that priorities that accept the narrative. The Biden administration's trying to get rid of Title 42, this fraudulent fake president that was installed thanks to voter fraud, wants more illegal aliens across the border, and because of his policies that he's already done, he's enacted, that's happening because the parts of the wall were not finished and instead are literally rusting out in the desert. More illegal aliens are going to come bringing in all kinds of everything from tuberculosis to lice to scabies to some diseases that were wiped out and that thrive in the third world. I'm also commenting on this. There is a link to the press conference that was done earlier. Mitch McCoy broke this as well. KTV Channel 7 had a link to it, but theirs did not have any sound. Somebody messed up with the mic on that, so I don't know what happened. Hey, the Metal God, welcome to my podcast. This is the first Podbeam podcast I've done with my laptop. I probably need to get I have a camcorder that I'm using because I'm also live streaming, and I'm looking at the mic system here, and it looks like it does kind of go a little low. So, but let me know if there's any sound issues. I maybe should have used my phone on this, but I thought I would try it. So I'm learning, and this is definitely a learning thing here. I've only done a few podcasts. I'm also on YouTube Live, Keep Arkansas Legal, where you can see me in my trashed out man cave workstation, and I'm on Facebook as well. I'm going to be at let me see if I can find this event I'm going to be at tonight, because I was kind of debating whether to go to it. We have a primary May 24th where we have a chance to vote out a lot of these Chamber of Commerce, Republican and name only politicians and replace them with conservatives. Our worthless excuse of a governor, Asa Hutchinson, is going to be leaving. Unfortunately, he's going. His chosen replacement is Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who is mainly funded by out-of-state donors, agrees with businesses forcing mask mandates, and worst of all, has no record of fighting against the COVID narrative when it was happening to us. Now, his primary opponent is Doc Washburn, who, like myself and others, did fight against the narrative, did make at least some effort to say no to the Department of Health when it was attacking small businesses, and has a record of actually doing something in terms of this issue. For U.S. Senate, our current Senator John Bozeman helped push the vaccine jab narrative. One of his opponents, Heath Loftus, is opposed to the COVID agenda and did show up at the state capitol. Another person who's running in that race, Jake Beckett, was nowhere to be found and is basically an empty shell. He's another out-of-state funded a fake conservative candidate who's paid to read a bunch of lines to make him sound conservative. He may or may not have a stolen valor issue. He supposedly went to the Super Bowl but never played. But again, the worst issue with him is he has no record of dealing with this type of issue. He simply was not around. As far as I know, he didn't even show up to even one school board meeting when this was going on. But the fourth candidate that I'll mention in that is Jan Morgan, and she actually does have the record of fighting against this issue. She fought hard in the state legislature for gun rights. She fought hard against the tax increases. She fought hard to make sure that these cities that fund sanctuary cities can have their funding cut, and we may actually have to enforce that law pretty soon. And she is the person who is running in that Senate race, who has, again, the record of fighting for our rights. And I'm going to post their names here. Here's a bit of the press conference.
Our training room at the Attorney General's office. This is
I'm gonna play this for a little bit.
So thank you all so much for coming with us.
Let me make sure it sounds good on the pod.
One of the things that I like to say is that Arkansas is one big small town, and in small towns across Arkansas, sometimes people have to drive for miles and miles to get to a store or a business to buy their essentials, such as food, medicine, pet food, other necessities. As the mom of a 3.5-year-old baby girl and a farmer's wife, I know firsthand how important it is that our food and medicine that is produced and distributed here in Arkansas be safe and reliable. So like many of you, I was horrified not too long ago when I learned of the rodent infestation at Family Dollar's West Memphis distribution center. Since at least January of 2020,
I'm sharing this on the Reopen Arkansas.
A massive rodent infestation. In March 2021,
trying to make it shared on their public group.
Inspected the West Memphis distribution center. Inspectors reporting seeing significant rodent activity where human food and pet food were stored. And management stated that they were aware of the rodent issues. In April of 2021, state health inspectors reported that effective measures were not being taken to stop the rodent infestations. Following a consumer complaint in January of 2022, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration began an investigation of the West Memphis distribution center. In February of 2022, the FDA issued a safety alert regarding the West Memphis distribution.
So from March 2021 to February 2022, all they did was do an inspection. 1 month later, they went back, and it turns out they didn't do what they were supposed to do. No shutdown. Place was still able to distribute rat-infested food. And then it's February 2020 through to that the FDA issues a warning. So almost a year. Meanwhile, mom and pop stores, one Department of Health official walks in, sees somebody with a mask below their nose, or not wearing a mask, or supposedly not attacking a customer if they didn't wear their mask before they sat down. Place was fined right then and there. I didn't hear anything about fines. Did you? Did you? I don't recall anything being mentioned about fines yet. Almost a year. Almost a whole year that they didn't do anything. Next to nothing. Now remember, this is when groups didn't abide by the Fauci mask mandates, which often changed and were unconstitutional, they were shut down. They were often fined to the point with enough money to shut them down. The Department of Health would come in and inspect them and then send them a letter fining them with enough money that they couldn't be in business. Then when there was, and later on during the Arkansas legislature, when there was an attempt to get some of their money back, and I think it was like $60-something thousand, depending on various businesses, to get some of their money back, the Arkansas Asa Hutchinson, with the help of Chamber of Commerce and other Rhino special interest legislatures, blocked that bill. So they robbed these mom and pop stores, these kind of stores that don't get Arkansas development funds. They don't get, they don't wine and dine with the Chamber of Commerce, and they can't go to a Sarah Huckabee Sanders $5,000 a plate fundraiser. They shut those poor businesses down or hurt them, and then couldn't even get their money back. But meanwhile, Family Dollar is allowed to distribute a bunch of rat-infested stuff for nearly a year, and I think they're still doing it. I think the place is still open, and they're just now getting sued. Let me go back more of this press conference.
Center, which stated in part, conditions observed during the inspection included live rodents, dead rodents in various states of decay, rodent feces and urine, evidence of gnawing, nesting, and rodent odors throughout the facility, dead birds and bird droppings, and products stored in conditions that did not protect them against contamination. More than 1,100 dead rodents were recovered from the facility following a fumigation at the facility in January of this year.
So they in January they did a fumigation. We don't know what they've done before. 1,100 dead rats at the facility. That's the ones they recovered after they gassed them. But remember, if you didn't wear a mask, if you're a mom and pop store and somebody wore their mask improperly, or you didn't immediately stop a customer because they were wearing a mask and you didn't get in their face and tell them to put one down before they sat down and got their drink, or I think they had to wait till they got their drink because the virus was is patient and it goes away once you get your drink, or you were out after curfew or something to that effect and got fined with enough money to most likely put you out of business. I mean, maybe that's what Family Dollar should do. They should just improperly wear masks and then the Department of Health would go away, or hire a bunch of illegal aliens, because the Department of Health won't bother an inspector if they hire a bunch of illegal aliens. They should do like Tyson Foods or Woke-Mart. Maybe if they get involved and fund a bunch of transgender surgeries, then the government will leave them alone. And I'm not slamming Leslie Rutledge. I'm slamming the Arkansas Department of Health. I can't sit there and say whether Leslie Rutledge could have done something about this sooner or not. But the Department of Health has once again failed us. And that's the thing I want to focus, the main thing to focus on. This is a government fail, another government fail. And I do hope that the Arkansas State Legislature finds the bureaucrats that were supposed to deal with this and didn't, and fires them. Let's not forget that West Memphis is also the area where they had a bridge that had cracks in it. And supposedly there was one inspector that got fired from Arkansas Department of Transportation. Only a few months after we passed after they scammed in a tax increase in our Constitution, a 50-cent sales tax, supposedly to fix the roads. So, folks, I'm going to end this. I got to take care of some other stuff and get ready to go to this event. It's at 6 p.m. I had to look it up. It is the Cabot. What is this called? Facebook keeps bouncing me around here. We go to events. Meet the conservative candidates for Arkansas today at 6 p.m. I'm going to post a link to that. I'm going to try to do a live podcast from there. It is at 8088 Highway 31 North Lone Oak, Arkansas. Ask hard questions. The people that are scheduled to attend are Doc Washburn, Brant, who's running for Arkansas governor, Brant Smith, who's running for U.S. Congress District 1. Jason Raper is supposed to have a representative at this event. He's also running for lieutenant governor. Mark Lowry, who's running for treasurer. And then there's local candidates. And by the way, these local candidates, these school boards, these city and county officials, they're just as important because they can make decisions regarding COVID issues there as well. Hey, lover of truth. Welcome aboard. Here's a link to the event that I'm going to tonight. I urge others to go to this. If you can't watch me on here, well, I will podcast. I may do by phone I may do this with phone instead because I'm not sure the sound quality on this laptop. I don't get feedback. I'll play this in a little bit. But like, share, and comment on this. Add some comments of your own. This will be made into a recording on YouTube, Keep Arkansas Legal, Facebook on my live stream, which you can put the link there. I'm going to end this on YouTube now.